These guys joined us last year, and we had a lot of fun. Now,
louder. They can hear us.
Your meat shields have to be louder.
Wojciech's jumping up and down. We gotta raise the audio levels.
Get the microphone.
Where's the microphone?
It's wireless.
It's not wireless, but
yeah, I could be.
Really? You guys need a mic?
it's also a
We don't need a mic. Come on.
Just talk.
Can you hear us?
They can hear us.
Okay.
All right, we're fine.
So we started this, and basically we're just going to tell you how we got started, how we've solved some problems over the years. Both of our groups have been doing their shows for about 2.5 years or so. And there is an interactive rule for this session. If you'd like to explain it, since you were the one that dreamed it up.
All right. If you go to a wrestling show, there's a very basic wrestling maneuver called a chop. Backhand chop, right like that, right to the chest. And whenever you do it, everyone pays homage to Ric Flair, who always does it, and he says, "Woo." Okay. Now, we put an interesting little interactive spin on it, and that's, and please, for the love of God, don't do this too much. It really hurts. When you in the audience give us a woo, somebody here. Woo! Woo! That's what happens. Down here.
hey, do you know what? I took the first one.
So yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and Spoon over here is on the do not chop list because he's fragile and a woman.
Hey, he took a big one last year. He had a
That's
hand.
Took the brunt of it last year.
That's true.
Yeah.
Spoon, you will get his chance for revenge later, but that's later.
Yes.
So, where to begin?
Well, if you guys want to start with how you guys got started.
Well, basically, I know some of you guys are here for our earlier one, but
First of all, who are you?
I'm Sick Puppy, Brad. We started out just as two friends that love craft beer. I homebrew my own beer myself, and we're both geeks, so we figured we're drinking all this beer, why not share it with the world? Started the show, and just to get the word of craft beer out there to everyone, you know, the Bud Miller Coors, football beer kind of people, kind of get them to, you know, up it with the good beers. So.
And not necessarily craft beer, but a lot of the stuff that we're doing here in Western Pennsylvania.
Right.
So we have about 5 microbreweries here in Pittsburgh. You know, there's some up in, there's a couple up in Erie. There's the whole way down to 79. There's craft breweries. They're out there. Nobody even knows that these places are around, but yet they make some of the best beer in the country. So our job is, or our hobby, I should say, is it's becoming a job.
It's a deficit podcast.
Is to promote beer in Western Pennsylvania and also promote Pittsburgh as a city, saying, hey, this is a great place. This isn't Steel Town. This should be one of the hot spots for craft beer and also for new media, for podcasting, for whatever it is. You know, Pittsburgh's grown up since the days of the steel mills, and we want everyone to know that. And through our show, we talk about the places that we like to go to and different things going on around here, so that people can find out about it.
You guys?
Well, we started, I actually do a little bit more than the Mayhem show.
Who are you?
I am Michael Sorg. I took my name tag off.
It's safer that way.
Yeah, probably. Actually, my first big project was Western PA Juggalos that actually started here about 2001, westernpajuggalos.com. And we were running a shoutcast radio server, just playing music, doing whatever. I had a bunch of people on there. And I would do a wrestling show on there.
Oh, come on, guys. Presenting.
What's happening here?
What do you think's happening? Come on, Mr. Stoke Monkey, presidential candidate. Come on. Oh. Baby monkey? Baby monkey?
Ladies and gentlemen, Stoke Monkey's Pit Girl that explains it.
Okay, if anybody can say what the official name of the lounge is, then help me out there. Thank you. Vote for Stoke Monkey over November 4th.
That's a regular guest on the Wrestling Mayhem show, the Stoke Monkey, who's now running for president.
Yeah.
And Miss Papuga.
With his running mate.
His running mate, Miss Papuga, is VP.
What's that?
Yeah. And we just got rickrolled.
What the fuck was that?
I was aiming for him.
Greg.
I thought that'd be louder. Where was I? Oh, Shoutcast. We were doing a radio show, and I met this guy, and we decided we were both wrestling fans, and really talked to him for like an hour at the party one time
about professional wrestling.
And I was just getting into the podcasting concept. I think I was listening to This Week in Tech. And I was like, hey, let's start doing one about wrestling, you know? And to answer everybody's question, yes, it is real. It's entirely real. Everybody knows it. Yes, definitely, especially the Stoke.
Totally real.
And eventually we grew as this guy just kept bringing strangers over to the show that never left. 2.5 years later.
I had a lot of friends who were into wrestling, and I had the same great conversations out with Sorg with these people, so I brought them over, and we had Steam Machine, who didn't last too long, and Chad the Shad, who recently left us. Not dead, but he's but we currently have myself, Sorg, Chachi he'll call in from time to time.
Yeah.
And we have V-Rock here. Miss Papuga calls in as our MMA correspondent. We have Mayhem Missy and also Doc Remedy, who are also not here this weekend.
Yes, they're Chad the Shad and Doc Remedy are actually somewhere else. I think in Pittsburgh.
They're a wedding or something, right?
By a fellow named Angry, so I don't.
Yeah.
Can't imagine what kind of wedding that's going to be. We started off on Switch Pod.
We started out with nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
We started out me and him talking in the studio around like 2 desktop microphones, and like you said on a Shoutcast.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I just recorded it and started tossing it on, trying to get in iTunes and everything. And eventually, woo!
Don't stop talking.
Oh, we got in a talk show, and that's when we started really getting into the interaction and having people call on the show. We're real big on fan interactivity. I'm watching you now.
Yeah.
This is how you do a session walking on hot coals, ladies and gentlemen. It's just kind of grown, and we get the fans more involved every year. So
yeah, we tell all our fans, write us emails, send us things. We'll read your emails on the show. Excuse me.
You guys come in calling through Skype?
We use Skype sometimes.
Sometimes we haven't had good luck with Skype, so we don't use it on a regular basis. Usually it's just my cell phone.
Skype usually works really well when I'm sick or tired and can't leave my house and just.
We also have an issue that we moved everything to the basement, and my wireless isn't too strong down there. I still get block TV and drops from time to time for live feeds, so I need to fix some things. But there are definitely things we want to do, because I know I've seen a lot of podcasts that have several people across the country running on Skype, and it sounds like they're in the same room. So, but
yeah, it's like I said, we'll tell them about the kind of equipment we use.
Kind of equipment?
Yeah. Because like I said, we started on just desktop PCs with desktop microphones.
Yeah, and we really, luckily I was starting a rap group at the same time. It now has its own podcast called The Crowdcast at monkeyflingscrew.com. That's actually, the Stoke Monkey came from a prop from our live show. Speculation. You're safe. Good. You're gonna flash me.
I hear the noise. I flinch.
I'm
scared. I'm scared.
The woos look great on the webcam, by the way.
Excellent. Thankfully, we've been able to co-op everything for recording for the album and for the podcast. We got on Musician's Friend, and I don't think we spent more than, for the stuff we used for the show, we didn't spend more than $120. It's about $50 for the board, about $70 or $80 for the mic, which was a nice studio mic, which if I turn the sensitivity up, it just picks up the whole room. And we'll have like sometimes 5 or 6 people in the room.
What kind of mic is it?
MXL something or another.
Letters and numbers and gold.
Yes. I believe MXL is the company.
MXL.
I think it's still on Musician's Friend. If you just look up studio mics, and it's like their $70 special. It's like 2 years later. So, And it's probably like actually more than any podcaster would want right out the gate, but it's fantastic that we just turn it up and pick up everybody, and don't have to worry about like everybody having their own mics or headsets or anything like that. 'Cause some people spend a lot more money on headsets. Like I know This Week in Tech, I mentioned before, they were talking about like $500 headsets they're giving everybody to operate over Skype or whatever they were using. But of course, Leo Laporte has a lot more money than we do to spend on these things.
What you guys?
For us, we started out with a webcam.
Yep, that's all we got. We're very much a deficit podcast where it comes out of our pocket. We don't really make any money at this. We do this solely because it's a hobby for us, which is why I think a lot of people listen to us because we're really passionate about our hobbies. And there's no corporate backups behind us. We're not getting a couple $100 for a new mixer or anything. It's level $500 headset though. I think that's more than our entire setup.
We do use a similar setup that they have now. Like I said, we start out with just a webcam.
And really, that's all. It looks like it, but the quality was okay to start with.
Right.
You're definitely going to want to step it up, but first, get the format for your show. Find out what you want to do with it. That's the key thing. If you sound like crap for your first couple shows, that's fine. Your first 10, they're going to be awful. We're not going to lie to you. Your first 10 shows are going to suck. Everyone's does. It's something that happens because you have to learn the software. You need to learn your microphones. You need to learn, especially with the headphones too. If you have a co-host, we had to learn how to feed off each other. When we're sitting around drinking beers, we're interrupting each other all the time. And, hey, you saw, stuff like that. So, if the first couple shows don't come out that great, don't worry about it. Everyone goes through that whole process. But you can do it relatively inexpensive with a $10 microphone. That's all you really need. That and a laptop or a desktop or whatever you're using, and some recording software. We use Audacity, which is free. Feasibly, you could start a show for $10. It really doesn't cost that much.
And there is a little bit that goes into figuring out all the editing and how to put the show together. Not everybody's blessed with being from an audio-video background. I'm from a multimedia background. I still have to learn audio a lot to be able to tune this thing. And there's still points. There's still times when the show doesn't come out like completely perfect because there was some sound running in the background I wasn't aware of. And I do a quick edit on these things and get them up the same night just to keep that. Just people are expecting it, so just to get it up there. And we have more of a live feel to it. We don't have a lot of pre-edited stuff like these guys do, but they put a lot into the back end of their show than we do. We're more concentrated on getting out there and having the live response from the Blog TV chat room, from the Talk Show chat room. So, and it's just different schools of thinking as far as putting your podcast together, and they're both working really well in both of our cases. But one thing he mentioned I want to touch on is the interactivity and feeding off each other. These guys are two drinking buddies that decided to get in front of a microphone or a webcam, and we were wrestling.
Drunks, man.
Yeah. Filthy drunks.
Yeah. You'll see that at the after party. And we were just friends that talked about wrestling anyways, and got on the mic and just in general, even when we're just around talking, like we'll feed off each other and have a good laugh, and just we learned to turn that up a notch for the show.
It's something else that has to be established is knowing who you're working with and being able to work with that person, like developing that kind of timing. After a lot of time of stepping on each other's lines and interrupting each other, and like they said, that'll happen forever.
What site do you guys put you do it as MP3?
Yeah, we operate through TalkShoe.com right now. That we put the audio podcast on, and that feeds into iTunes and everything. So
And you
can
pay
find
so much per month or something like that?
TalkShoe's free.
It is?
Yeah, there's several that are paying, but this one they have they're working on their monetization methods and everything, and they actually I would recommend anybody starting off that wants a kind of simple to get yourself up there to use a blogtalkradio.com or TalkShoe.com, because they have the built-in chat rooms, and really you could just get on a phone and get in there, and they allow for call-ins. From a conventional phone, or through like I think it's Skype or their own online shoe phone. TalkShoe calls it. but there's a lot of options there if you want to do something that's more like a live call-in show. Like that was kind of like the turn of the idea of podcasts, is actually have that right in front of you interactivity. Because before that, it was just a lot of people just sitting down in front of a microphone and just putting it out there, and without that direct interactivity, like maybe read emails and everything was the extent of it. And then again, that's what these guys do, but their stuff's a lot tighter for it. So it really depends on what you want to do.
A lot of our shows are actually sometimes 2 to 3 hours, but we edit it down to an hour.
We don't. 2 to 3 hours, we just let it go.
Yeah, we just kind of see what floats out there. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
We try to stick around 2 hours, but it doesn't always end up that way.
Yeah, sometimes we'll get on a roll.
Yeah.
You guys do it once a week.
Bi-weekly.
Yeah, we try to do it bi-weekly. It mostly comes down to our work schedule.
Yeah, it's never on a set day or anything.
Oh, okay.
It's twice a month, basically.
We've been really forfortunate that we've had Tuesdays for the longest time. We had different days previously.
We had Thursdays for a while, or
Wednesdays?
Wednesdays?
Wednesdays? And then like work schedules or school schedules, like we decided to move it 1 quarter for somebody, and we've been stuck on this for well over a year and a half, I think.
Yeah.
So.
How do you do live call-ins? Do you stream it, or recording?
Well, since we're also streaming on the Block TV at the same time, basically I have a couple computers, and one's just recording the show live, like just for what we're going to put up later, and then the other one is operating the Talk Shoe stream for anybody that wants to listen on there, and the Block TV stream with the webcam.
So that's where you get your callers from.
Yeah, and we don't use it as much anymore, but TalkShoe has a number that you can call in on and operate it through their software. Blog TV, there's somebody in the chat room with a webcam and mic. You can bring them in. I'll get to you in a second. And aside from that, most of our stuff is really honestly through my cell phone and held up to a mic, just because that's the easiest for us to do.
Whoever's getting the best speakerphone.
Yeah. It's just we haven't taken the time we needed to work out the bugs with Skype or anything, so we just lean towards the tried and true cell phone, just out of necessity. Especially when we're doing interviews with pro wrestlers that are like half the country away, and we don't want to drop the call from an important interview.
We've talked to wrestlers who have been like in airports fixing to eat on the plane, and they do their interview right before they get on the plane.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Or just stepping out of dinner or something.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't even know where we did Sean Davari, who's now on TNA under something Bashir. I changed his name to something.
He was in an airport. He
Was
was
he in
fixing
an
to get
airport? I
on.
thought he was at a show or something. It sounded ridiculous. I
It was-
thought he was like by a train.
At a train station.
But still, it was a great interview. It was fantastic.
That was a
You got
sneeze.
yours. You got it. Was it a sneeze? Bless somebody?
Yeah, over on this side.
We had a question in the back.
Yeah, 2 parts. First part,
I like that.
how do you get your fans to start looking for you?
Start working for us?
For no money?
Bringing in
Well, first off,
Ask nicely.
First off, we encourage them. We validate their opinions, we validate their points, we answer their questions, we read their stuff on the air, we say their names. You'd be amazed how much you can get out of somebody saying their name.
Oh, yeah.
Give them props.
Giving them props, yeah. Thanking people, just being gracious for them listening to the show. I've always said if you take care of the fans, they'll take care of you.
If you kind of do the concept of ever call in and make a request on the radio line, and just be like, oh, this is from Mike in Jamestown, and you're like, oh, my name was on the radio, it's that little attachment. With this, we can take it one step further, and with the emails, we have a voicemail system on our MySpace page through Snapvine, and we've invited people, like some of the people remotely, our friend from the Bronx, Mike, is actually formerly a member of the show. He calls in just about every week. He sends an email that we read every week. He's in the chat room helping us manage that. He's actually taken over and done, for a little bit, we were doing live Raw chats on the Block TV, and he would take that over for a bit. And
There was a week where we were actually at a live event that was here in Pittsburgh on Tuesday. He just did a show for us. Just did 2.5 hours.
You just
by
talked to
himself.
him on the chat for 2.5 hours, and it was fantastic. I mean, it was actually good one-way conversation, but he did a fantastic job. So
Woo!
trying to decide which one.
I'm just accepting.
I was just waiting for it.
I think it's Will's best to accept it.
You can give me a ride to the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Most of our fan interaction comes from emails. We don't get too many comments on our actual website because a lot of people subscribe through iTunes or some other kind of feed, so they don't even know that they're reading the website. Nice.
You're off the camera. Hey, get like
Don't break me. That's all I ask.
We'll see.
But we do get a lot of emails. We tried doing the voicemail system, but when you get a bunch of people drinking and deciding to call you, it's kind of like that drunk dial you get at 3 o'clock in the morning from that person you don't want to hear
I can see
from.
the trouble of fan interactivity.
We had issues with that, but we do have a lot of contests also, which usually draws up a lot of enthusiasm because they're getting free stuff. The biggest one that we've done is we gave away a trip to Erie, PA, home of the Wojciechs. And along with that trip, you had 2 free passes to a beer festival. We gave you overnight accommodations at the Avalon Hotel. You had dinner provided by the Brew Erie. There was 2 tickets to an Erie Seawolves game that night, so you could go to the beer fest in the afternoon. You could go to the baseball game at night. They had second row from home plate. It was like pretty much the perfect setting for these guys. And they actually drove up from Virginia Beach for it. And the girl didn't tell her boyfriend until he saw the Pennsylvania state line when he realized he was coming to Erie. So that was a good surprise for him. And it also ended up that he was a beer geek, so he really loved it. He got to try 30 different breweries, then he got to have dinner at a brewery, and then he got to watch baseball, and he's a huge baseball fan. So that was definitely one of the big ones that we've done. But also we give away little things like beer coasters. We don't want them, but other people want them. They're like, oh, I get 100 beer coasters.
You put free in front of anything.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm thinking our next big foray is going to be into giving giveaways and stuff like that.
Yeah, just no more dress like a Mayhemmer.
That's true. We've had some
contests.
unsuccessful contests.
Yeah.
You'll learn. You'll learn.
That's the picking up the ball.
Do you want an example?
We had a dress like your favorite Mayhem show member contest.
For Halloween one year.
For
That was
Halloween.
the first Halloween we had.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
We said go on our MySpace page. Look at our
I think you
pictures.
had a bunch of those
Just
little
like
frosty coupons that you got for trick or
That was
treat.
for a
They were
different
each good-
competition.
That was a different
That was a
competition.
different competition. We did
Okay.
not announce prize for that one, but it didn't matter because nobody did. You could have just sent a picture of yourself if you won a prize, but nobody did.
I think we probably have a few more listeners now than that. I mean,
That's true. That's true.
And there's been times we get obscure too. We actually record at Sick Buddy's house, and it'll get time for the contest studio, and we'll look around like, what do you want to give away? And we start looking through his cabinets. At one point we had a Pirates hat. I said, you know what, let's autograph the hat and give it away. We had 40 entries for it because somebody wanted this Pirates hat. So,
Somebody's gonna get my underwear.
hey, we can give away that pitchfork that Remedy found in that
That's
basement.
true.
you just got to worry about shipping.
That's true.
We can give away the pirate ship.
Mayhem
Pirate
Owl.
ship
We randomly-
championship?
No, we're not giving away the
That's the
owl.
My father killed that owl with a baseball bat. I can't give it
We
away.
have a stuffed owl that's become a member of the show.
It's part of my childhood.
Chadwick the yeah.
We can give away Chadwick to Chadwick.
Give away lots of stuff.
She's like, no!
It's a bust that we started playing with one time. We were
The
doing a
moral
big
of the
screen
story
shoot.
is it's really, really easy to do the stuff that we do. Just give away crap from your home.
It's not crap, it's collectibles.
Give away collectibles
That's
from
right.
your home.
The dog is part of the show.
Can we
People love the
sign,
dog.
can we sign the dog?
Which she holds still. Got pissed. Anyways,
I mean, it actually kind of works both ways for us because we can't get a lot of the beers that we'd like to try, and we have fans from all over the country, from all over the world.
Turkey.
Yeah. But some of our fans will send us beers that we can't get outside of the blue, which is awesome.
One of the big things that's been very helpful for us.
No.
No.
I think it's wine.
We do not condone the shipping or receiving of alcohol in the state of Pennsylvania.
And shipping a not for consumption collectible.
Yeast sample.
If you ever do send out any beer to anyone, don't use the U.S. Postal Service.
Yeah, just do it from
UPS, FedEx, DHL, and don't label it beer.
One of the things that we
I like
found
to
out.
put lamb, or base.
Base is good.
Sorry, your base is leaking.
Pause.
Okay, I have an anonymous question from the Sikkim chat.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's just like our show.
Yeah, very excited.
This person wants to know if any of you have been involved with a drink called a 649, and can you explain it?
Well, and I believe there's a video on podcamppittsburgh.com that explains
Yes.
what
Where's
do you want to
local over
elaborate?
there? See right there.
Serve him tonight. The after party.
He's buying.
So can you explain what the 649 is?
649 is based on a Canadian lottery called the 649. And you go to the bar and you look at the shelf of the alcohol. You take the sixth one from the left, the fourth one from the right, and the ninth one from the left, or whatever they may be. Pour them in one glass and then chug. So we will be drinking that tonight.
You won't be forced. Don't let them scare you.
Last year it was Sambuca, vodka, I think, and tequila.
Yeah, yes it was.
Yes, tasty.
That's why, yeah, go look at the video. And we'll explain why.
That's why these two shows should be together. Are you kidding me?
This is completely dangerous and not safe for anyone.
Since we're on the topic of bad alcohol.
Wait, I've got one more quick
sure.
from the chat room. Pit Girl is in here. Pit Girl says, "Woo!"
Sit.
No.
I felt bad.
Mayhem show.
You don't rhyme.
Just get it worse.
He's joking.
Okay, I'm good.
Sorry.
No, I just... God.
But speaking
got
about
shirts.
bad alcohol and everything else, one good thing that you can do for your show is any kind of little shtick you can find for it, like a little quirk that you might have, is always a good thing. Someone always wants to know about it. So for us, yeah, besides the fact that we're idiots with it, we filter alcohol. We have this device called a Great Kangaroo personal alcohol filter. And every once in a while when we do videos, which it started as a gag a long time ago, and it picked up. People loved watching us filter alcohol for some reason.
We even did it on our show when
Yeah,
he was
he came
over
on our
one
show.
time. We were like, let's see what we can do with this crap vodka.
So basically what you do is you put the crap vodka through the top of it, and then there's a charcoal filter. It's like it's a Brita for alcohol. And then it purifies it, and it takes the sting away, it takes the hangover away. So we did it once as a joke on our show, and people were like, how do I get one of these things? This is the greatest thing ever. You gotta be kidding me. This stupid little thing that we did for like 10 minutes, everybody wants to get one of these. So we actually ended up talking to the maker of it, who saw our website, and he's like, hey, I heard you guys talked about it. Why don't we get something started where people could buy it through your website, or have them, buy it through my site, and we'll give you credit for it. So then all of a sudden, SIDT got on the map because of this this little joke that we had that was 10 minutes long. People picked up on it. They're like, let's pay attention to these guys, see what these fools are going to do next. It was something as simple as that, and all of a sudden our name started to get out there. We never really publicized our show. It was just us hanging out, threw it on iTunes, and somebody found it. Hey, they found it, that's great. There's 100 bajillion other beer podcasts that are out there. So we had to figure out, how can ours be different than everyone else's? So, yes, we're unique. So we decided to start.
See, we tried something similar with energy drinks.
Nobody's
Nobody's picked up on actually we should try that, especially that Steven Seagal piece of crap drink we had.
We decided to go fishing for sponsors, so we decided to start testing energy drinks. We'd buy them at, wherever we could. And if
Sometimes
they
we call their hotline on
we did that,
on their can.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've ever talked to a human.
No, it's always a machine, or it tells us if we are pregnant or have a heart condition, we should go directly to the hospital.
That's correct. But we test and we rate them, and the worst ever, hands down, is Steven Seagal's horrible death energy drink. It tastes like burnt feet with black cherries.
Have you had the Hogan one?
Yeah, we had
the Hogan one was
It was
fine.
very fruity.
That one was very fruity, yeah.
Like pineapple. It was weird.
Yeah, well, yeah, like she said, the only segment to really come of it is Doc Remedy Smash That Can. In which case, after he empties it, he smashes it all over his face. And he's only actually made himself bleed once.
Yeah, just like 2 weeks ago.
Too recently, yeah.
Amazing.
He's nuts.
Head like a rock. But yeah, the other little segments like that, like the Soak Monkey, that are reoccurring for us. Just little gags. For a while we had. I know, fighter. You know. No, we had a bit for a while. We had a bad experience at a McDonald's on West Liberty, and yeah, I know. And there's the manager's name on the receipt. We're like, we should call the manager. His name is Mitch. We called him, and
it was largely disappointing.
It was disappointing. It was just like, oh, how can I help you?
He didn't really care, and we didn't really want to push him.
We didn't want to ruin his night worse than already was working at McDonald's. So we had the call done again, the way we wanted it to go.
Right.
And Mitch's was born.
Mitch's.
Pretty much a totalitarian food Nazi. That was very.
He was very abusive to his employees. He would lock them in freezers, and
he was on the run from the FDA.
Yeah, it ended up. The last we heard from Mitch, he was in Cuba, waiting for Castro to kick off.
That's right.
And that was it.
Which is close, I think. But just like little recurring things like that people can get into.
For us, it started out with me drinking 8-year-old beer, trying to. What was born of that is our chugging challenge.
And this is where fans get involved with the show.
Yeah. Send us an idea of what you should chug, and we'll do it within reason.
Yeah.
No Drano, nothing like that.
There was one posted recently, which I'm going to thank the fan that sent us this idea, this Jim. There's this beverage out there called Chelada. Never heard of it, which most people haven't. It's tomato juice, clam juice, and Bud Light.
Oh.
Yeah! It really turns the stomach. So he said, I want you to chug that while listening to Culture Club.
The song was You Really Hurt Me.
Yes. So what we do when we get these challenges is we ask our fans to vote. Who do you want to chug it? That was me. And it was bad. It's 24 ounces, and we usually get a lot of hate from people from it. Like, why would you do this? Why are you doing this on YouTube? You're encouraging people to do this kind of stuff, and we have a disclaimer. You know, we do this for fun. If you mock us or copy us, you're a fool. That's basically what it comes down to. We do it for fun. But with the whole chugging challenge, though, we had one video really take off, which was the Dogfish Head 120-minute challenge, which, if you know the Dogfish 120-minute, it's 23% alcohol. And we chugged it. And I saw stuff. I saw stuff. Some trails.
There's a feature on that video as well.
Yes.
We did that video. We played it up. We had a paramedic there and everything.
But the funny thing was, a couple people talked about it, and then before we knew it, we were getting thousands and thousands of downloads for the 7-minute video where we embellished the whole thing. Because everyone's like, extreme beer, yeah, this is the way to go. And we're like, you guys are fools. Do you realize what you're doing?
That also just proves another thing, that ad press is great.
Never be afraid if someone slams you, because that's usually a good thing, because then other people want to find out why they're talking trash about you, and that's what really skyrocketed us.
There's a beer snob website out there, and don't get me wrong, I am a beer snob, but there's like an 18-page thread bitching about that video.
Yeah.
But it got us so many more listeners, because the attention was all on us, so it was great.
And we actually heard from Dogfish Head Brewery, and they said, we think it's funny. So Sim Calgione, thank you. If you're watching.
What is the concept of the Father Spoon character?
Well, Father Spoon, which is the name that I use, I think I didn't say that originally. It's the name that I use on the show. Part of it is because I have a Catholic background. And yeah, it's a small part of that, so I can really relate to it. But what happened is, for some reason, when we go out, people like to tell me their problems. And people I don't even know, they just, for some reason, they just come up to me and start telling me their problems. So one day I finally had enough. I'm like, you know what? Take a shot of that, and you're forgiven. Everything's fine. And so this guy comes up, he's like, dude, cheating on my girlfriend. I'm sitting here with him. Why? Why are you telling me this? I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever. That's her. Yeah.
He was wearing that at the time, by the way.
He's like, yeah, that's her over there. I'm like, oh, okay. And that's my girlfriend. I'm like, oh, so I guess, what do I do? I'm like, leave. I'm like, what do you want me to tell you? So that kind of spawned the whole thing is, just for some reason people would start telling me their problems, and it's like people I don't even know. And then I just say, you know what, drink that. And someone just made the joke like, you know what, you'd make a great priest someday. I'm like, you know what, we could do something with this.
Forgive your sins for gin.
Yeah, so I forgive your sins for gin and suds. And then we just kind of played it up from there. It's something that stuck. It's like, you know what, it's good versus evil. He's sick puppy, I'm the most Reverend Father Spoon, and I'm actually an ordained minister online.
Oh,
yeah, Chachi is also. Yeah.
Shut up. Are you serious?
I really am.
Whoa, 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 where are you?
Out your hole!
Do not defend against me.
Seriously, I was wondering, where do you guys see your podcast going next?
The hospital.
It's hard to say. When we started this, honestly, if we had 5 people listening, we were fine. It is we had 5 guys that we work with. Once we started to take off, we ended up, we were on G4 Tech TV. We've been on DVE. We've been on, we've been in Draft Magazine. We're in Go Magazine. We're in Flavor Magazine. It's just, people started picking up on it. And we really didn't know what to expect. We weren't expecting any press. You know, if we got like a little blurb somewhere, we were fine with
I
that.
think for you guys, it's really legitimized your podcast. If there is such a thing for you guys.
And also, I've picked up stuff on the side writing beer articles. So that was really a cool thing that came through the whole thing. Now, we do have an explicit tag. Because as you're with your friends, you have a couple drinks.
Explicit tags.
Yeah, kind of start swearing.
It kind of have to be that way because try and be ourselves. I mean, it wouldn't come across right if we weren't. So
I think
the F-bomb stay.
The biggest thing that came out of all this, though, is last year we were a finalist for a podcast award, Food and Drink. And we find out tomorrow. I think, yeah, tomorrow night we'll find out if we're finalists for 08. So if we are, vote for us.
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo.
We'll hide.
I was just ready for it.
All right. He's going to throw on your shoulder and injuring me. WWE. We get a lot of local independent wrestlers. We've gotten wrestlers from TNA, Total Nonstop Action, which is the other federation that has a TV deal. We want to get people from, more people from Ring of Honor, and we want to get guests from WWE, the big group.
Yeah, we're again, kind of legitimize ourselves. We want to kind of start pushing to hit the big interviews like that, talking to people that are bigger in the wrestling game. I mean, we're just fans, and that's what I hope that pulls us apart from other wrestling podcasts. Because 9 out of 10 times, if you go look for a wrestling podcast out there on iTunes, it's really just some fan bitching about stuff for an hour. And we bitch about stuff.
They haven't updated in like a year.
Yeah, that too. I mean, the only thing closest to us is one called Wrestle Crap, where they just make fun of stuff for like an hour and a half.
And they have book deals.
Yeah, and they have book deals.
They publish books.
Wow. 3 books.
So we're going that way?
We're hoping. But I mean, we try to be, we try to be respectful of the business, because that's a real big thing, is like a lot of people don't respect the wrestling business or anything. And especially when you're talking to these wrestlers, you need to sound like you know what you're doing. You're not some fan, you know, that is
just babbling like me.
Yeah, just babbling, like, hey, remember that time in like '96 when you did this and that?
Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Remember that? That's cool.
I mean, just be like, you know, what do you think about what they're doing with this? What do you think about this? Where do you think you're going? What would be good for you? We've laid some questions on some of these guys. That they were blown. Like, wow, it's a really good question. We had the Gambino brothers in, a local tag team here in the area. Live in the area, work for IWC and other feds. And they came and they just went to Japan. They were invited over to Japan to wrestle, and told us came and talked for like an hour about their trip.
Yeah,
and,
the first hour was just them telling a story.
And one us or somebody in the, I think it was somebody in the chat room actually dropped a line of who would you like to, what tag team you would like to wrestle. And it was something they never really, it was from an angle that they never really thought about. Because they were just, kind of, we're doing what we're doing on the scene. We're getting this here and there. I think at least one of them was on WWE as some extra talent. Yeah. So I mean, they didn't really look forward at that point. But
speaking internationally, Tommy Valier says, "Whoa!"
Oh, good.
That's from Canada.
Nice. That was from Canada.
That's a chuck with an accent right there.
Also, MMA. Mark my words, we're going to share
Not that way. Sorry. I was excited.
Okay. MMA. Boxing is dead. NASCAR is on its way out. And I will tell you right now, wrestling is on a downswing. Its popularity is waning. MMA is going to be the future of sports entertainment.
Okay, you making statements in this.
Yeah. Hey, look, we're on video here and elsewhere, so
it really is like a lot of the wrestling fans are kind of transitioning over to the MMA just because it is more legitimate and it is a sport as long as they don't screw it up. There's just been some controversies recently.
But yeah. Mixed martial arts, UFC, cage fighting, that kind of deal.
Elite XC, that's just been on CBS recently.
UFC is pretty well known.
Yeah, UFC is pretty much the biggest. Like that's the WWE of fighting right now, I think, at least in this country.
Do you intersect at all with the Mexican mass wrestling?
Oh yeah.
Yes, actually, well,
luchadors.
Well, we've had a mass wrestler on, but he actually
he was American who learned his craft in Japan and got his mask in Japan.
His name's Super Hentai.
Yeah.
And he gives great massages.
Why would you?
Yes.
We won, I do win.
Okay.
You won.
You have an agreement over there?
No, well, basically a lot of the wrestlers that we interview, like we said, the Gambinos went to Japan, but we also have wrestlers who have been to Mexico, travel all over the world. We haven't interviewed any specifically, luchadors trained in Mexico, but I mean, if you know anybody, we'll talk to them.
Yeah. And just every now and then there are like Japanese and Mexican guys that come through like the local guys, and that's where we get a lot of our interviews. Is going to these shows. We were pretty good with the guys, and a lot of the local guys come on our show. And when bigger people come through, like we say, hey, how can I get a hold of you? And we're actually going to be taking steps here in the next couple of months to start pushing to the Ring of Honor, which is the hottest independent, the ones without a TV deal in the country.
Yeah.
They tour all over the place, and they actually just got about 6 months ago or so a pay-per-view deal. So they're starting to come up. And their people are still accessible, and a lot of them do wrestle here locally. A lot of them from here, actually. So that's one of the venues we're trying to explore as far as getting people in to talk to. Because I mean, these are people we respect. We want to talk to because we respect them, and they're the people we look up to in the business. So
Basically, it's all who you know, because there's wrestlers out there that we could send them checks for $5,000–6,000, and they'll come on our show not knowing anything about it. But every interview we've gotten has been on merit and word of mouth. So, and we haven't really.
We've had people asking to be on the show.
Yeah.
At least amongst the local people. They're like, hey, when am I going to get on the show? When do you want on?
We ever had interviews where before you interview, the person would say, I only want to talk about this and nothing else. They bring up this certain aspect to maybe a past character that I've done.
Basically, every wrestler that comes on our show, we say we have a lot of listeners. This will go out on the internet, and people will hear what you say. So if you don't want something,
and there have been some that have said more than they probably should have. And
Jim Shireman, everybody. Jim Shireman.
But no, yeah, we
need a reference.
Yes. Any more questions before we take off?
Do you have a
During an interview, and what's the best beer in Pittsburgh?
Ooh,
I hate
That's
that
a good
question.
way to end. Oh, Bret Hart. Bret the Hitman Hart. For me, at least, that would be a dream.
Whatever one's in my glass.
One in front of me.
Oh, let's see.
Best beer in Pittsburgh. That's hard to say because there's so many good breweries in Pittsburgh and PA for that matter.
East End Brewing Blackstrap Stout.
Yeah.
Blackstrap Stout.
I would have to go with that myself. Yeah.
And Scott Smith makes some really excellent beers. East End.
Of course, my favorite. My dream interview would be probably Greg Koch from Stone Brewing.
Sure.
I'm kind of tied on my favorite interview that I'd like to do between Chris Jericho and Mick Foley, because they're both done a lot in the business, and I think they both would be great interviews, especially Mick Foley. So Mick Foley would definitely edge out Chris Jericho on that. They both written really entertaining books and personal interviews, and they would be fun guys to talk to, you know, and you know that they would treat you with the like respect that you give them.
Right. So, we hope you guys have enjoyed it.
Yes.
We got one last thing for you. Like I said, Spoon is on the Do Not Chop list. And because I actually chopped him so hard last year at Podcamp, I gave him heart problems. So now he...
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that.
He gets to extract his revenge on me now.
It's
So.
not the bacon or all the beer I ate.
3!
Woo!
All right. That was good.
I got blood.